Alleged doublets in the Pentateuch. Could Moses have written the Pentateuch? Verbatim repetition. The definition of verbatim repetitions. Verbatim repetition refers to repeating exactly the same word or phrase without deviation from the original text. The purpose of verbatim repetition is to emphasize the essential content of the text, to convey the narrator's understanding of the significance of the narrative or speech in question, and to establish a link with the narrative or speech's previous occurrences, where applicable. An example of verbatim repetition. Exodus 14 verse 16. Reach out with your hand over the sea, and the sons of Israel shall go through the midst of the sea on dry land. Verse 21 and 22. Moses reached out with his hand over the sea, so the sons of Israel went through the midst of the sea on the dry land. Verse 21 and 22 repeats what was mentioned in verse 16. Moses reached out his hand, and the Israelites going through on the dry land. These verses are assigned to the same source, in this case P. It was therefore obviously a common writing style to repeat certain points. I added another example. Genesis 7:21. So all creatures that moved on the earth perished. Verse 22. Of all that was on the dry land died. Verse 23. So he wiped out every living thing, and they were wiped out. Verse 23 repeats the point of verse 22 that all died. This is assigned to the same source, in this case to J. It was obviously a common writing style. And a last example. Exodus 31:14. Therefore you are to keep the Sabbath. Verse 15. There is a Sabbath of complete rest. Verse 16. Shall keep the Sabbath. Event though it is assigned to the same source document, in this case P. Repetitions are used again. This was obviously a common style of writing. Following conclusion can be made. The Bible often uses verbatim repetition because it is a way of emphasizing important information and linking the current text to its previous occurrences. This does not necessarily suggest the involvement of distinct authors in the biblical text. Repetitions do not provide evidence to discount Moses as the author of the Pentateuch. In the description there is a link for further information on this subject.